horses are.
Miss Mary May.
Right from work.
Long time no see.
I gotta tell you something. I gave Mickey Gross here the night before the fireworks took place. Not even coming in. He didn't get him to make him understand he's got to do this. He calls me at 5 o'clock. Give me his full name again. So I go. So Tom tells me, yeah, he got it.
Yeah, I got it. It's just,
No, I was talking.
okay, except that they're offering it.
God grants the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of our nation. May the Heavenly Father of all bless those who have been given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. And may He watch over and protect those first now.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do you need?
This special meeting being conducted on July 10, 2019, has been advertised in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Before we move forward with roll call?
Roll call.
Councilpersons Buchanan, Delina.
Here.
Enriquez.
Here.
Kilpatrick.
Here.
Miguel. Novak.
Here.
All right, at this point, I'd like to make a motion to appoint a pro temp for tonight's meeting, unless we can do it for the whole rest of the year, that we appoint Mary Novak to that position, as she is the most senior member here on the council.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Kilpatrick.
Yes.
Delina.
Yes.
Enriquez.
Yes.
Miguel. Novak.
Yes. At this time, I'd like, Ms. Kilpatrick would like to,
Yes, I have a request, actually, for the council here. It's my understanding, I've been doing a little research since our past meeting, that there is the possibility that we might be able to obtain an easement, which is a part of the Mako property, in order to have access to the bypass road if and when it's ever created. What I'm asking for everybody right now is to authorize our counsel, Mr. Dupont, to reach out to Mr. Mako and find out if in fact we can procure some type of an easement over his property and use that potentially for the bypass road. So does anybody have objection to that?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mary.
Do we need an okey-dokey or a roll call?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to say? Okay, we're going to read the resolution? Do we need to read it in full or not? No. Okay, I'll open to the public to discuss the resolution for tonight for the Affordable Housing Agreement. Does anybody have anything about the, okay. Do I have a motion to close?
Make a motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, a roll call on that? No, roll call on the,
Resolution authorizing adoption.
okay, so we need a motion. We just closed the public portion.
Close pub, now it's
Okay.
a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt the Affordable Housing Agreement.
So that's, let me see, where's my little thing here? Not introduce, adopt. I move the public hearing be closed and the ordinance adopted on second and final reading. I'm sorry? Oh, down lower, my apologies. I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
This resolution approved.
It's just a resolution, it's a motion to adopt the resolution authorizing the adoption of the affordable housing. And that's the motion that,
It's actually, we're formalizing what we did at the June 24th meeting.
no, this is,
No, no, no.
Oh, excuse me.
this is paragraph A.
Yep,
So
okay.
this is just, so the motion is just a resolution, or adopting the resolution authorizing the adoption of the affordable housing agreement.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second. Roll call.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Delina?
Yes.
Enriquez?
Yes.
McGill?
Yes.
Novak?
Yes. Okay, now we need a motion to memorialize the action that we
You
took.
can open this to the public if so be it. This is the first time that even though it doesn't have to be.
We took the action on the
Right.
24th. We
This is
just,
right, this memorializing the action that we did on the reasons resolution.
We don't have.
we don't have to.
We don't.
So do I have a motion on it?
You can, if you can, if you want. It's, it's just memorializing it.
Okay.
Okay.
And we
so-
just
You can if you want.
open it to the public? Sure. Okay. I open it to the public for the memorialization that we took on the 24th.
Mr. Robinson, especially.
Oh, can't see you.
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem Novak. I assume this is as a result of my comment a couple meetings ago about the need for the council to state their reasons. Is that?
It's part and parcel.
Okay, well, I appreciate you doing that because that's important. I see that in one of the many whereases here that Lakeview Drive will not be extended to protect the residential units that live on Lakeview Drive from the traffic. Now, traffic exiting this site, the Mako site or the Fulton's Landing site, will be required to go right. And if they want to go towards East Brunswick or the Turnpike, one of the ways they can do that is to go down North Ernston Road and onto Washington Road. I assume it would be preferable that they take the Main Street extension and get out of town. So one of the ways to prohibit that would be to make North Ernston Road a no-truck road. Of course, you have ShopRite at the other end, so, you're going to have to make some allowance for trucks to get to ShopRite, for those of us who like our Cheerios. But I think a couple meetings ago, or maybe the last meeting, Council President Kilpatrick very wisely recommended that Kimball Drive East and Kimball Drive West be non-truck traffic roads. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. And I'm suggesting that you might want to consider doing the same thing for North Ernston, which would be an incentive for the trucks to hopefully use Crossman Road to the bypass at some point, and I appreciate that you're looking into that. As I mentioned at a meeting before, I did have a discussion with Mr. Mako about that very thing, and he seemed receptive to at least moving the driveways down towards Crossman Road to keep them off Main Street for as long a period as possible, and to get them onto the extension and to the bypass. So I assume that you would agree that it would be preferable to have those vehicles, at least the trucks, travel Main Street for as short a distance as possible, and those that do travel down Main Street get onto the extension and get out of town. Would that be a correct statement, that that makes sense?
I think it's something we should look into, right?
Well, I don't know how we close it to truck traffic and we still have it for ShopRite. I mean, how do you enforce that?
Well, you can close it in one direction, for instance. The ordinance could indicate, I mean, you do that all the time, when you say no parking in a certain road, or from here to here, it's easy to do. Enforcement might be a little bit difficult, but certainly if you post signs at one end, the Main Street end, it would stop trucks from going down there, which I think is probably going to be the bulk of the problem if they leave this site and don't take the extension. I mean, it's doable. I'm sure there's enough talent up here to
I
find a way.
think it's something that we should look into. We just should discuss it
okay.
with legal as well as the police. They would have,
Yeah, I think
some idea on what we could do to at least,
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Wait a minute. I'm sorry, Michael. Ruth Ann had her hand up first.
Thank you. Ruth Ann Mahoney, 2 Gerard Place, Parlin. I would like to see Lakeview Drive through. There is going to be increased traffic, car, small trucks. Not all large trucks have to turn, but being I live North Ernston, 4th of July, Kennedy Park and other things that go on in Kennedy Park, it would help Ernston Road, North Ernston Road. It would help get through Sayreville. If there's ever an emergency and there's very limited ways to go through Sayreville in those directions, I think Lakeview Drive needs to be put through. North Ernston Road has residential areas as well as Lakeview Drive. So are we preserving only certain residential areas or all residential areas? North Ernston Road, as Mr. Robinson indicated, I would also like to see limited truck traffic, only to ShopRite. I sit out on my front porch day after day and watch the trucks come through their tractor trailers on a regular basis. We already have an issue with the children walking to school on that road that's not been resolved yet. This will only add to that. Is it going to take a death, an injury before something's done? I've called the police department. I've tried to work with them. I've gotten no response. And adding trucks, major tractor trailers to that with children crossing is adding more danger. And again, North Ernston has a lot of residential people. You have children walking not only from my area, Sarebrook, Reflections, Patriot Hills, Robin Hood, they come through that area. It's a serious issue. I am disappointed in some of what has happened here with the warehouses. Yes, they're going to be, and I understand that's the future, but there are conditions that can be met and put on them, and I've not seen that happen, and not a lot of willingness for that to happen. It makes me sad for Sayreville. And personally, I find that this is only going to be the beginning of warehousing in Sayreville, since this is the thing of the future. Thank you.
Michael?
Michael Diadio, and I'm the chairman of the Sayreville Economic Redevelopment Agency. Just to remind this council, ShopRite is not the only business at the other end of North Ernston Road. There's a lot of stores in that shopping center. Hopefully that shopping center will flourish with more people working in these warehouses. Hopefully we'll have all these stores rented. But there's Sayrwoods. I mean, what if a truck's pulling out of this warehouse development and they need to get up to Sayrwoods? Or they need to get into the ShopRite shopping center? You're gonna send them all the way down to past the Main Street extension, come all the way back around Route 9? It's not practical. North Ernston Road is well suited for truck traffic. That's why we have the ShopRite shopping center there. Those traffic studies were done, and with all due respect to my colleagues here, it should not be limited. You shouldn't have limited truck traffic on North Ernston Road. And as far as Lakeview Drive goes, you guys made the right decision. We can't afford to open up that road. There's a senior building there. Those seniors cross into that Quick Check shopping center. You can't make turns up at the top, as Mr. Bartlinski explained. You'd have to seize property. You made the right decision. As far as I'm concerned, for all the 20 years I've been doing land use, you made the right decision as far as these warehouses go. You made the right decision not allowing these homes to be built, and you made the right decision by not having Lakeview Drive extended. Thank you.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes, thank you. I forgot to ask the big question. What did the mayor do with the redevelopment ordinance?
He signed it.
Mayor signed the redevelopment ordinance. Mr. Frankel, did the mayor meet with Mr. Mako this week on the 3rd floor of the Borough Hall?
Mr. Mako was in the building on Monday.
Okay. And so is the mayor, and so
Yes.
were you? Okay. You don't know if they met?
Did Mr. Mako meet with the mayor
I
today?
think Mr. Mako did meet with the mayor.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Art?
Arthur Rittenhouse, 33 Delacat Lane, Saraville, New Jersey. Just a couple of points. I agree with Mr. Diadio as far as keeping North Ernston Road open. And I remember Lakeview, I still think that should be open. It was said it was too windy and dangerous a road. If you've ever gone down North Ernston, it's got bends right at the beginning from Main Street going down. So, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. The master plan had called for that. Mr. Frankel, let me just allude to what Mr. Robinson said. I believe there was a meeting with Mr. Mako and the mayor, and I believe that the results of that meeting are now going to the attorney, and I think that should be made clear, that there is an alternative. He's willing to explore the easements going through for the second part of the bypass, where previously Mr. Mako had said no way that that is going to go through. At the last meeting, that testimony was given, as far as that goes. And that, as a bypass member, that would be a help having an easement, because then that would remove that obstacle for the bypass. Thank you.
Roseanne? I know.
I'm sorry, Ruth Ann Mahoney, 2 Gerard Place. I disagree with Mr. Daddio. North Ernston Road should not be for truck traffic. As I've stated, you're endangering the lives of the children. It's a residential area also. Cars will still be able to get to the shopping center. Trucks will still be able to get to the shopping center. The trucks come in from Washington Road as it is to ShopRite. They don't come down Ernston Road on a whole. I don't see any. I still think you're putting the children at risk. It's a residential area, and you're steadfast on Lakeview being a residential area, so is North Ernston Road.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? A motion to close the public portion and adopt the resolution, or memorialize the resolution?
Make a motion, Council Marriott.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Delina?
Yes.
Enriquez?
Yes.
Kilpatrick?
Yes, with comment. I was just concerned in the public portion to hear Mr. Rittenhouse speak that not only was there a mayor meeting with Mr. Mako, but it appears that there's been some type of brokering or negotiations of some type of a deal between the mayor and Mr. Mako behind closed doors. This is concerning on a lot of fronts. I would have to look to our attorney in reference to those types of happenings going on, where the mayor is actually brokering or negotiating with the developer in reference to a redevelopment project or issue. I believe that we all remember the last time that something like this may or may not have taken place. The mayor had signed off on a document that he shouldn't have, and it resulted in a significant amount of attorney fees in order for us to unravel and undo that. I'm going to ask that our attorney, in addition to looking into what I had asked regarding easements, look into the ethics or the role, the abilities of the mayor meeting with the developer in order to broker what appears to be some type of deal, which was just acknowledged by Mr. Rittenhouse here in a public session at approximately 6:18.
Excuse me?
I'll look into it tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dupont.
Yeah, mayor can do that. That's his job.
Councilpersons McGill?
Yes.
Novak?
Yes, with comment. I just want to say, at the last meeting, my reputation was impugned by saying that I had met Mr. Mako several years ago for a few seconds, and somehow that made me ineligible to vote on this deal. And now I find out tonight, without any knowledge of any of the council up here, that the same mayor who impugned my reputation had a behind-the-door meeting that nobody up here knew about. I find that highly insulting, but my vote is yes.
As do I. because I know that put before this council at our last meeting were pictures and images of me standing there, Mr. Mako, as if to try and discredit or impugn my integrity. I'm not meeting in closed-door sessions trying to broker and negotiate deals with them.
And, oh, got to finish with the roll call. Oh, I'm the last one. Okay. Authorization to hire 5 police officers. Here. Make a motion?
So moved.
Councilpersons Kilpatrick,
Yes.
Delina, Enriquez,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Novak.
Yes, we will be having interviews and everything, so we can get them into that.
Interviews, I would like, if everybody's okay with it, on our scheduled meeting of July 22nd. I'd like to do that at 6 PM before the council meeting.
How's that look on everybody's schedule, okay? Just come in a little early? The next meeting, 22nd? Dave?
I'm fine.
Vic?
I'm good.
Cool. No executive session? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Oh, public portion on any and all matters. Opening it to the public. Yes, Art?
Arthur Rittenhouse, 33 Delacat Lane. Just to go back to that, the mayor does have the right to meet with people in his office in this building, and other people were aware of it. It wasn't a secret meeting. It wasn't at a political fundraiser. It wasn't at a picnic. It was doing his job as the mayor of the town.
Again, I shook hands with a man, and somehow that made my reputation being impugned. And now we have a secret meeting behind closed doors. I don't care what you say. When we have a meeting, the doors are open and everybody knows about it. He has a meeting with the developer, and the doors are closed and nobody, but the head of the Republican Party knew about it. Isn't that interesting?
So did Mr. Robbins.
Who is he?
Who is he? He's a private.
Thank you.
Did anybody hear?
Okay.
Council?
Any other comments or questions? Motion to close public?
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think he just...
I just need you. Good night.
Hey there, Jay.